I was 13, I was sitting at lunch with my best friends and best friend's parents, actually mom and sister, and they were sitting just having lunch. They're like, "What do you want to do with your life?" And it was probably one of the most profound questions I've ever gotten ever. And I just, not this. I don't want to work in a warehouse making $25K a year, married to, this girl I was dating. She was a great person, wonderful. Just one of those things where you either get married and possibly be miserable, or you break it off, right? Loved her. She was great person, great personality, but I was just too young. I was 19, 20, wanting to get married. Not a smart decision at all.
Yeah.
And at that day, I think I might have even told you, that day I went to Barnes & Noble, but it wasn't Barnes & Noble back then, got the U.S. News top 25 public colleges, and I applied to everyone. Then it was, no one in my family had ever gone to college. I didn't even know where the colleges were. And here I am applying to, Rice, Stanford, and I think I was getting, when I put the stamp on the letter and put it into the mailbox, I think the postman just opened it, said no, and put it back in for me. But yeah, I applied to top 25, and of the top 25, I only got 2 acceptance letters, and one was Minnesota, one was Purdue. And so for me, it was an easy decision. It was Purdue.
So you made the right decision.
But I didn't even know where it was, right?
Yeah.
I grew up on racing, but I didn't watch college sports. I didn't care about college sports. I didn't care about colleges. I was never, ever going to go. Never taken the SAT, never taken the ACT, graduated 792nd in my class with a 192. Not because I was, super, I just never went. I left Friday morning for California to race, and I got home Monday, and if I was injured, I missed a few days of school. I think I set the record of 16 absences one semester. It was just, I was never there. But junior college got me a decent GPA and got me into Purdue, and I graduated Purdue with basically a 3.0, 3.1, but and then I went to work for Gallo, and the rest is history.
How at such a young age, even the first 2 decisions, all right, so the first decision, just understanding where you're going to live, the decision with marriage, not to kind of just, I guess the ability to realize that this is not what I want.
Right.
And then the discipline to say, I'm leaving this current situation, even though I love her, the situation is great, but I just need more.
Right.
What was in you that just made you, at such a young age, realize, was it the state championships in wrestling? What was it that made you just realize, I can do better? There's something bigger out here for me. I'm not just boxed in by my current situation, current environment, current upbringing.
That's a good question. And I think it probably, the grass is always greener on the other side, right, kind of deal. It's like I always wanted, when I was a kid, it was funny, I always wanted I wanted a Beamer, or I wanted a Porsche, or I wanted something that someone else had, the big house, the big mansion. I had friends with money, and they all had their toys and their trailers, and at a young age, I wanted that, right? So what's going to get me, I saw goods, or, well, in essence, homes, cars, as success, which I don't today, but back then I did. And it was like, okay, what am I going to do to get that? Because if I don't better myself, then I'm going to keep doing exactly what I'm doing now. And like I said, I was going to be making, 25 grand. My best friend still works for his parents. Great family, worked his ass off, owns part of the company, but he still only gets 2 weeks vacation a year. Right? Kind of deal. And he's right. It's just, and I didn't want that life for me. And, and even later, I've made some of those big decisions, leaving Gallo, leaving Anheuser-Busch, all on my own. Those are, when you're leaving a company like Gallo or Budweiser, you're the king, literally the king in the industry. And you have everything, Super Bowl tickets, 50-yard line, field passes. You're going to the Kentucky Derby, sitting at the finish line. It's a lifestyle that people would die for, and I left it. So there's been some hard decisions in my life.
Number one reason that you left?
Number one, happiness. At that point, I had made it my career successful by then. 20 years at Gallo. I got to the point where I wasn't worried about getting a job. And actually, I had several friends actually say, it was like, everyone will hire you. You have all the experience. You have all the friends. My Rolodex is amazing, as we like to say in the industry. They're like, dude, you can do whatever you want. Just do it. And I'm like, okay. And it was literally that simple. And I did.
And